Well, thank you, Ben. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jason Bent. I'm the Director of Policy Research at OFA. I will be moderating our last session on resilient fields. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Charles Lalonde. As a project consultant, Mr. Lalonde has been instrumental in taking the Resilient Fields project from a concept 2 years ago to a web-based tool that farmers can use when deciding how best to address field challenges. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Lalonde.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you fine. It's all yours.
Okay. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, it's showing up. You're good to go.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure again to be in the program. I've got about 20 minutes to take you through a field-by-field decision tool called Resilient Fields. It's a web-based tool designed specifically for Ontario field conditions. We had a project development team led by Al Muzzle, and we had a great time putting the science into the program and presenting it in a meaningful way to enable farmers to select the best practices, realizing that sometimes the information can be confusing. The development team met with the governance group through Christian Farmers Federation of Ontario, and it was supported financially and supported through knowledge from the OFA. And we're appreciative to the funding that we received from Ontario that enabled this project to go ahead. So why resilient fields? Well, we needed a computer handheld phone app to help farmers select the best practices for crop production and create a permanent record of why things were done in a certain way. We all know that we need flexibility to address environmental issues while safeguarding the farm's economic goals. So through this computer app, there's an opportunity to integrate many sources of advice. So the support for agriculture's efforts towards sustainable production is making headlines every single day. And we're seeing new markets emerging as well. And one of the criteria to access these markets is the need for transparency. So we know government has a focus for society, and there's all kinds of information on land cover, carbon sequestration, less tillage, less fertilizers. There's been a lot of hype about clean fuel standards. In Ontario, the soil health strategy focuses on regenerative agriculture and better management of nutrients. And of course, we have water quality issues as well. And the media has picked up on all of this. Not only the media, but the agri-food industry. So from our previous speaker, in the map of the US, this is where Bill Gates owns agriculture. 268,000 acres makes him the biggest farmer in the US. So you can be sure that the whole issue of best practices, regenerative agriculture has legs. On the top, a panel discussion This was an article that appeared less than 10 days ago, and it was an announcement by Corteva that it was offering a new carbon market for the farmers in the Midwest US. And again, last week, PepsiCo came out with its statement on regenerative agriculture. They happen to manage 7 million of acres, representing land that produces the ingredients that they use. And their view of BMPs is cover crops, enriching the soil, protect against erosion, and promote crop rotation. These are valuable goals, but we all know that year by year, field by field, there are issues that arise that have to be dealt with. This was a research article that appeared about 2 years ago by Dale and Klein and Parrish from the Oak Ridge National Lab in Tennessee and from Penn State. It was produced in landscape ecology. And I chose to do a slide on this because as ecologists, they nailed it. First, they did their work on forestry, dealing with forestry sustainability in the South US. And then they moved into agriculture, mostly in Iowa and in the Midwest states. So in their report, they nailed critical factors to ensure a proper dialogue between society and farmers. So effective communication, transparency, trust, these are critical factors if we're going to move forward with sustainability. And as ecologists, they recognize the assessment of conditions is key to realize continuous improvement in management practices, thus enabling timely responses to changing conditions while still progressing towards a set of locally defined goals. So yes, you can have an objective of increasing land cover, but you know, for a given field, it won't be possible to do that at every crop. So you need flexibility and beware of programs that tie your hands to do the same thing year after year. So I'm getting into resilient fields because the program is really aims to give you control of what BMPs you're using and when. So in designing the program, we've got supporting databases that have been programmed and are accessible. So I'll show you farm articles, videos, and service providers that are accessible through the program. There's a farm and field page to generate context to the BMPs that you're considering. And the BMP page where potential choices intersect between environmental and economic goals, we've created short education statements so that you can weigh the benefits of one practice over another. Then we offer solutions, and we create the ability for you to download and print out a confidential farm information. And the program offers the opportunity for advertising as well. But a quick word on confidential information. We do not store your information. And as you'll see as I go through the slides on the program, we don't require much input. So this is the opening page. And you can see our relevant partners are all listed. And the statement note at the top is indicating that we're in the process of finishing the programming. But at the very top of the page, you will see 4 buckets: field information, GMP considerations, solutions, resources, and on the far right, an about button. You can maneuver in any part of a program at any time. It's not sequentially built, but you have to follow a certain sequence. A great feature in the program is that we link electronically to a multitude of programs and over 150 farm articles. So the cover crop decision tool is at your fingertips. AgMap, AgriSuite. There's information on regenerative farming. The Farmland Health Checkup at OSCIA, the 4 R's, videos from Farm and Food Care on compaction, et cetera, and et cetera. So these existing programs were linked to resilient fields so that there's no duplication. So here's a screen for recording some basic information. So at the top 4 or 5 boxes, you're dealing with farm level information. And then you're in the bottom part, after all remaining questions are specific to a field, there's drop-down menus so that you can select the appropriate information. It helps you focus on the different BMPs that might be applicable in your situation. The best management practice page, there's about a dozen choices. And one of the fundamental things of this page is that we recognize that doing the right thing for whatever environmental reason doesn't always add up to a gain on several fronts. Sometimes a practice will fix a problem, but could create a secondary problem. So it gives you the information so that you can make your own choices. And they're all organized by topics. Then we arrive at field challenges. And through the work with the Christian farmers and the OFA governance team, we selected 4 areas: soil management, and we have 5 topics there. Nutrient management, which focuses exclusively on nutrient loss management. We're not trying to give you the recipe of how to fertilize. We're simply addressing how not to lose nutrients. Then we have growing season management options and water management options. So here's a typical page on soil management. In this case, we're addressing runoff. So we've provided, and there's a few more at the bottom of the page, so 7 or 8 solutions that could be of interest to you. Notice on this page, the box with the Great Lakes, that's a direct link to AgMaps, so that you can get all of the provincial data layers for your field. And you'll notice on each tile, so we have the topic, for example, controlled drainage, a statement of what we're covering, and then in a very light blue, it refers to references on the topic. And all of the tiles are organized in that manner. And that's where the 150 or so articles come in where appropriate. So when you click on a particular solution, in this case, it's keeping your soil under soil health. We provide you with evidence of what the problem is. And yes, we're counting on you farmers to know your problems. We're not trying to load a million pieces of information to tell you where your problem is. You have to decide where the problem is in your own field. Then we list a few of the contributing factors behind the problem, and some of the solutions that we offer appear in green. And then as you're going through, you decide you want to look at the references. So you click on any of these blue titles, and it will take you immediately to that article. And the articles are selected to be meaningful for us in Ontario. So now it's time to generate a record so that you can use that record to work with your crop advisor or other professionals, and you can generate a record so that over the years you can track back which choices you made and why. So this example here is under soil management, and it deals with CCA advisors. You could have clicked all of the 5 choices here under soil management, and it would carry through to the printout. So this is a typical printout. It picks up the page where you recorded information. It also gives you the choice, if you had decided you weren't going to record any field information, to put it in now so that you have a record available to you to download. Then we list the field challenge, the evidence of problem, the solution, and the relevant articles. And the record now is ready for printout. That's the bottom left green button. If you decide you need to address another problem in the same field, you can press on the green button in the middle, and it will take you to any of the solutions, and you don't have to re-enter that information. Or if you want to move to another field, then the green button on the right. So there's a lot of opportunities for resilient fields. You can use it for planning. It's an independent source of information. We as project developers did not create information for a program. It's based in science, and it's based on published literature at the farm level. You can use the information to exchange views with your CCA or professional services personnel when it's uncertain what you should be doing. We can bring additional literature and videos to farmers. So I have a continuous improvement option in this program, and monthly we add new literature and videos as they become available. And we have to support the program. So we've developed an advertiser's capacity so that we can generate revenue over time. And as I move forward, there's opportunity for input by crop advisors, agronomists through annual review cycles so that the information that gets put into the program is selected by a group, UMAFRA, crop staff, the Grain Farmers of Ontario, OFA, CFFO, and various industry leaders can have input into the program. So before I say thank you, I just want to spend a second on the logo. The blue is obviously a raindrop, the yellow is the nutrients, the green is the in-season plant issues, and the brown is our soils. And that's the logo that represents Resilient Fields. It's available on your phone or on your computer, and you can download the program simply by going to resilientfields.ca or through your search engine by typing Resilient Fields. Thank you, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lalonde. Excellent presentation. We'll now begin the Q&A segment of our session. Please submit any questions you have in the question box. If we run out of time, we will make a note of your questions and provide a summary of answers following today's session. The first question I will ask, I know that in matching field situations with possible solutions, you have reviewed lots and lots of research studies. Could you share with us where you found the biggest gaps in the research?
I think it's no surprise whether it's agronomy, animal science, economics. The ability to compare information across published papers. So one paper will say cover crops are very beneficial. Another paper under a certain set of conditions conclude that cover crops can be costly. So there's conflicting information on just about every topic. And so you decide on the geography. Is it relevant to Ontario? A good example of that is a lot of the soils research done in Western Canada is very well done, but it's not meaningful for us in Ontario or in Eastern Canada. So you got to sort that out, and you have to rely on people that have the expert knowledge to say, yeah, these tend to be the direction where we need to go.
Thank you for that, Charlie, and thank you for your presentation.